ජීවිතේ වැඩිපුර ලැබෙන හොඳම දේවල් විඳින්න. දැන් SLT Broadband වෙතින් 75% දක්වා වැඩිපුර ඩේටා සතුට ජනවාරි 1 වෙනිදා සිට ශ්‍රී ලංකා ටෙලිකොම්.
Good evening. A long way to go. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights calls on the government to speed up on the promises made prior to address human rights violations. Taking action. Prime Minister appoints 3 committees, including a special committee to expedite action related to fraud and corruption. No confidence in the air. UNP State Minister Rangi Bandara says that they are willing to bring in a no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister, demands change in the party. Knowledge sharing. Marking the relaunch of the Peace Corps program in Sri Lanka, the US Peace Corps to support promoting the English language in the country.
Volunteers come prepared to work and to teach, but also to listen and to learn.
And Anyonghi Kaseo, South Africa brings the curtain down on its Peace Games with winter sports athletes dancing and singing together at a vibrant closing ceremony. Good evening everyone, we are coming live on the hour to bring you the very latest from across the island and around the world. I'm Mahesh Johnny and welcome to First at 9. Later on in the show we will tell you all about the court summon issued to President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. But first, in our lead story. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Said bin Rad Al Hussein, tabled his latest report on Sri Lanka at the 37th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, which commenced in Geneva today. Here, he has highlighted the absence of a credible domestic solution to the problem of impunity for alleged serious human rights violations. High Commissioner also went on to say that an accountability mechanism is needed for the country, and in the absence of such a mechanism, his office calls on member states to exercise universal jurisdiction when required.
Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ravinath Arisinghe, along with several other delegates, are representing Sri Lanka at the 37th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. Tabling his report titled Promoting Reconciliation, Accountability and Human Rights in Sri Lanka, High Commissioner for Human Rights Zain bin Rad Al Hussein first reiterated his appreciation for the constructive engagement of the Sri Lankan government with the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights as well as United Nations human rights mechanisms since January of 2015. As noted in March of 2017, he explained that this constructive collaboration must be accompanied by the implementation of key commitments. He also says in his report that the fulfillment of transitional justice commitments made under Human Rights Council Resolution 30/1 has been virtually stalled for more than a year. Touching on the measures of confidence building, Human Rights Commissioner went on to say that the structures set up to coordinate implementation of the sector is not consolidated enough or has not received sufficient political support to move forward. He also says 2017 was marked by intermittent inter-ethnic tensions and attacks on minorities which are unlikely to dissipate completely. Human Rights Commissioner points out that although the government has managed to steer many of these events in a positive direction, this type of violence in a country that has experienced cycles of extreme violence roughly every 10 years is deeply troubling. Al Hussein says the continuing allegations of torture and surveillance and the lack of sufficient progress in implementing critical confidence-building measures such as release of land, the repeal of the Prevention of Terrorism Act and the solution to the pending cases under the Act have antagonized key constituencies that could be instrumental to the government's reform efforts. The High Commissioner urges the Human Rights Council to play a critical role in encouraging progress in accountability and reconciliation in Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that the subject minister Tilak Marapana is set to make a statement on the 21st of March following the speech of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. United Nations Human Rights Council sessions, which commence today, will conclude on the 23rd of next month.
Now, in his capacity as the new Minister of Law and Order, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has appointed a special committee to expedite actions related to fraud and corruption. Issuing a statement today, the Prime Minister's office said that the Premier made the decision during a special discussion with secretaries of the Law and Order Ministry, as well as Finance Ministry and high-level security officials, including IGP Pujit Jasandra, at Temple Trees today. Ministers Rajitha Senaratne, DM Swaminathan, Ajit P. Pereira have been appointed as the members of the committee. Meanwhile, another committee has been appointed to look into the appeals related to political vengeance within the police department. Ministers Tilak Marapana, Ranjit Madhubandara and Sagala Ratnayaka have been appointed as the members of that committee. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has directed senior security officials to take severe action against crimes, including crimes against women. During the discussion this morning, a third committee was also appointed to coordinate activities related to the establishment of a University of Criminal Justice. Prime Minister will chair the committee in which Ministers Thalatha Athukorala and Sagala Ratnayaka are to act as members. Oh, there is an urgent travel alert from Sri Lankan Airlines. If you are travelling on board Sri Lankan Airlines, this could interest you. In a statement, Sri Lankan Airlines says that they deeply regret continuing delays and congestion at the Colombo airport due to a combination of unforeseen events, including a bird strike which damaged an aircraft in Cochin. Major delays are being experienced throughout the Sri Lankan Airlines network. Passengers are requested to check in for their flights online or to contact their call centre on 0094 197 331979. That number once again, 0094 197 331979, or their travel agent before going to the Bandaranaike International Airport. Let's get to the latest on the political situation here in the island. State Minister Palitharangi Bandara says that several parliamentarians of the United National Party are looking into the possibilities of bringing in a no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. He made this comment while addressing the media in Puttalam today.
We have to do a complete change within the United National Party. The first has to be the leadership. Unless we do that, there is no point in any cabinet reshuffle nor creating another generation to take over. So kindly listen to the voice of the people. This is not the voice of the people from Anamadu or Puttalam, but the voice of the entire nation. I call on all the people of this country, raise your voice. I call on all parliamentarians, work selflessly thinking about this party. Think about the leaders who developed the UNP. Currently, it's becoming a futile party. Don't let that happen. Some parliamentarians will act in a selfish manner. Reject them. If they can't act thinking of the party, then we are compelled to bring in a no-confidence motion. That no-confidence will be against the person who has lost the confidence of this nation. I would like to state that many members of the UNP are willing to take the leadership over this no-confidence.
Now, the leader of the Pivithuru Hela Urumea, parliamentarian Uday Gammanpila, says that young United National Party parliamentarians have rendered their support to bring in a no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister. He made this remark at a media briefing today.
The comedy called the cabinet reshuffle has now concluded. The President said he would take the development of the economy into his own hands and make a radical change after elections. What happened at the end? All ministries involved in the economy is still with the UNP. During the election, we saw the President calling the Prime Minister a bank thief. What happened yesterday? The position of the police is now given to the bank thief. We wish to tell the country that the so-called justice we expected from the bond issue has now come to an end. Young UNP MPs who were expecting deputy minister positions are also frustrated. The downfall of the UNP is imminent. We need to put forward a no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister. We have also received word from young UNP MPs that they too are ready to support this decision. This is the first time a thief is being given a position to overlook the police. If the Prime Minister wants to, he could conduct a proper investigation because he is the one who knows how this fraudulent act took place.
The General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party says that Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's decision to take over the Law and Order Ministry is a temporary one. SLFP General Secretary Minister Duminda Desanayake made this statement during a media briefing held at party headquarters today. Here they also discussed about the recently concluded local government poll results.
We believe that we would have received much more votes than what we received, but due to several issues, that did not happen. Statements against the former president, such as putting him in jail or abolishing his civic rights, did indeed affect our election cause. Well, I think if after forming a government in 2015 and then requesting to abolish that government based on a local government poll result is not democracy, it's unethical. They use the slogan calling to make Mahinda Rajapaksa the Prime Minister. I believe a party using such slogans show their immaturity. It's unfortunate that some groups within the government is trying to showcase their personal views as the government's views. I see that as something erroneous. There are people within that party who has been accused of various crimes. So we need to discuss in depth to see how we can join forces with such people and take this country forward. I state here responsibly that the PM only took this position for a shorter period. Another person will be appointed to it soon. There is a high possibility that the UNP will get the position, but there is a discussion going on. We have not vacated the agreement. It's not a legal document. It's just an understanding. It does not say that we have to stay with it till 2020. We can always discuss at the Central Committee of the party and take a decision.
The Jathika Hela Urumaya is of the view that major reforms needs to take place within the government if it's to fulfill aspirations of the people. Its General Secretary, Minister Patali Champikaranamaka, whilst addressing a media briefing, said that the need for such reforms is much evident when analysing the recent results of the local government polls.
The message this result has given is the fact that people of this country expects the coalition that worked for the January 8th cause to once again to work together, rather than working apart to further their individual goals. The failure on promises given and the good governance government's failure to take appropriate measures to take action has been one of the key factors for this fallback. Amidst all this, we propose a tangible change in the government and its structure. One of the key points that we emphasize is that both sides needs to get together in order to achieve success. Failure to sort issues such as Saitam was a factor. From the beginning, what we believed is that it should be abolished and a replacement program should take place to address the future of those children. This directly affected our election cause. From the recent cabinet reshuffle, what we believe is that it would not solve the problems at hand. With regard to the opposition leader's position, prior the joint opposition sought the position, but at that time their argument was that they contested under the UPFA. And it was part of the government. About 45 of those members have now formed a new party for the election as the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. Now what they need to do is to inform the speaker and get a decision. If that happens, we are ready to accept it.
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Professor G.L. Piris, criticises the decision to divide the reshuffle of the Cabinet of Ministers, one being for the United National Party and the other for the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The professor points out that the reshuffle should not be held separately as the Cabinet is a single entity.
President Maithripala Sirisena is stating that the amendments regarding the MPs of the SLFP will be made in another 2 weeks. This is certainly a world record. Cabinet of Ministers are considered as a single entity. Some SLFP ministers fly overseas just to escape from this. SLFP ministers are afraid and ashamed to be involved in this, and there is a clear reason behind it. Through the election results, the ministers of SLFP realize that the party supporters are with Mahinda Rajapaksa and his party. This situation will be further confirmed through the provincial council elections. They will be washed out entirely.
Speaking at the media briefing, convener of the War Heroes for the Motherland organisation, Attorney at Law Ajit Prasanna points out of a possible plan of framing Gotabaya Rajapaksa for the murder of Lasantha Wickrematunge.
This sort of mudslinging is aimed at a person possible of contesting the presidential election. I'm not stating that he is contesting, I don't know, but that is the case. Lal Wickrematunge, elder brother of Lasantha, made a complaint to the former commissioner of the Human Rights Commission in Geneva that his brother was murdered by a group attached to Sarath Fonseca. In Parliament, Joseph Michael Pereira also accused a group attached to Sarath Fonseca for assaulting Keith Noyer, Upali Tennakun, and killing Lasantha. Not only him, Ranil Wickremesinghe, the opposition leader, accused a group attached to Sarath Fonseca for killing Lasantha. But later in the 2010 presidential election, Ranil Wickremesinghe made Sarath Fonseca the common candidate. And with that move, Sarath Fonseca was no more responsible for Lasantha's murder, according to Ranil.
ඒකත් එක්කම ලසන්ත මැරුවේ සරත් ෆොන්සේකා නෙවෙයි රනිල්ට අනුව.
In other local stories we have for you tonight, President Maithripala Sirisena has instructed relevant authorities for the immediate renovation of 2,400 tanks in dry zones across the country. Instructions were issued at a special coordinating committee meeting for the Polonnaruwa district today. The meeting was held at the Thamankaduwa Divisional Secretariat Auditorium this morning under the patronage of the President. Progress of programs under Pibidemu Polonnaruwa District Development Project as well as plans for 2018 were discussed at the meeting as well. The Colombo High Court reissued summons requesting President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to appear before court in relation to the case against former General Secretary of the UNP, Tisathanayake. The reissue took place after the President and the Prime Minister failed to appear before court today following unavoidable official reasons.
Former General Secretary of the UMP, Tisathanayake, is accused of making a fraudulent document public during the last presidential election by inciting racial or religious hatred among ethnic communities. President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe are named as the prime witness of the legal case against Sathanayake. However, the President and Prime Minister failed to appear before the Colombo High Court today due to unavoidable official reasons. Accordingly, Colombo High Court Judge Vikum Kalwarachi reissued summons on the witnesses to appear before court on the 24th of June. Meanwhile, the former General Secretary of the UMP expressed views to media following the case today.
This is a completely made-up case. It's not a case related to misuse of state assets, murder, fraudulent activities or anything as such. This is a political case. The case has been dragging for 3 years now. The court said today that they have to make a decision since they can't keep me as a suspect much longer. I want to see an end to this as well because I have done nothing wrong.
Meanwhile, the Colombo Magistrate Court postponed the case hearing against former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa and 8 others who are accused of causing 11.4 billion rupees in losses to the government by allowing Avantgarde Maritime Services Private Limited to maintain a floating armoury in the Galle harbour. The case hearing has now been postponed to the 26th of March.
A bilateral agreement was signed between Sri Lanka and the United States today, seeking the assistance of the US Peace Corps for promotion of English language in the island. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said the initiative will better serve to satisfy the current demand for the English language.
The signing ceremony of the bilateral agreement between Sri Lanka and the US to obtain the assistance of the US Peace Corps to improve English language skills was held at Temple Trees today. The agreement was inked by Minister of Foreign Affairs Tilak Marapana and Acting Director of the US Peace Corps Sheila Crowley. The event also marked the relaunch of the Peace Corps program in Sri Lanka, which concluded its operations in 2006. The new program will focus on improving English language skills of both Sri Lankan teachers and students alike.
Volunteers will help to strengthen and improve the English language programming in the schools, and we look forward to working with the Ministry of Education to achieve these outcomes. Volunteers come prepared to work and to teach, but also to listen and to learn.
There's a bigger demand for English today, and therefore when I made the request, I was thinking of this program and I told our Minister of Education, who gladly said I must then implement it. At last I have the teachers. There are more schools now which require English teaching, but it's a good program, and there are many who had the benefit of the district English language improvement centers. And I have no doubt that this will be a successful program which should be copied in other parts of the world.
Well, American jazz sensation Wycliffe Gordon and his international all-stars have joined hands with the Embassy of the United States in Sri Lanka to honour and celebrate 70 years of diplomatic partnership between Sri Lanka and the United States. The US was one of the first countries in the world to recognise Sri Lanka as an independent state in 1948 when Sri Lanka was granted independence from British rule.
United States Embassy in Sri Lanka launched the #USASL70 campaign earlier this year, consisting of a series of programs in honor of the 70 years of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the US, which coincide with Sri Lanka's 70th independence. One of #USASL70 campaign's highlights was the gala concert held in Colombo yesterday, performed by the celebrated New York City jazz artist Wycliffe Gordon and his international all-stars.
Hello, my friend. Welcome into our town.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and other prominent members of different fields participated in the event last evening.
We've had a great legacy over the past 70 years of development, partnership, trade, and so much more. We have Wycliffe Gordon and his international all-stars, and we have them playing jazz because jazz is an American art form, uniquely American, about freedom, equality, about innovation. And that's very much in keeping with our vision of a Sri Lanka that is prosperous, democratic, united, reconciled, free, with equal rights for everybody.
Wycliffe Gordon and his international all-stars will tour the country, staging performances and masterclasses in Colombo, Galle and Matra until the 28th of this month.
The attorneys representing the owner of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, Arjun Aloysius, and its CEO, Kasun Palisena, filed revision applications seeking bail before the Colombo High Court today. And now here's a look at some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
A shooting has taken place between two people on a bus travelling to Ampara from Matara. The police spokesperson office stated that the incident has occurred around noon today. The 33-year-old victim succumbed to his injuries while being escorted to the Hambantota hospital. The assailant had escaped in a vehicle following the incident. Police say a car plying from Bandaravela to Mahiyangana had fallen into the Viana Canal in the 7th milepost area on the Badulla-Mahiyangana main road at around 7:30 this morning. 3 persons, including the driver of the car, have been rescued, but a person is still reported missing. The rescue operations are underway. His Eminence Cardinal Malcolm Ranjith had stated that the law should be enforced against drug racketeers without exceptions. He stated this at an anti-drug protest march held in Negombo yesterday. Roofing sheets and houses were damaged in Kalutara district last night due to heavy winds. The severe weather conditions were experienced in the district for more than 2 hours. No fatalities were reported.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
On to business news now. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority has made a record profit of 13.2 billion rupees in the year 2017. Speaking to media today, Minister of Ports and Shipping Mahinda Samarasinghe said that all employees will be receiving a salary increment of 10,000 rupees, which will take effect from the month of January this year.
The Sri Lanka Ports Authority made a record profit of 13.2 billion rupees last year. This is significant because the profits recorded in 2016 was only $1 billion. We hope to continue to earn a profit equivalent or higher than this in 2018 as well. Taking this into consideration, with the approval from the Treasury, we entered into an agreement for a period of 3 years with 23 trade unions in the authority that will see a salary increment of 10,000 rupees. This increment will take effect from January this year. What is also significant about this increment is that from this 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees will be added into their basic salary.
According to the SLPA, comparing to 2016, the authority was able to reduce its expenditure by 8.6% in 2017.
We were able to gain a 13.2 billion rupee profit mainly because the loan payment that was due from the Hambantota harbour was lifted from Port Authority. If we compare 2017 to 2016, our revenue grew by 3.5%. This money will be used for the development of ports around the country, including Colombo.
Let's take you to the stock market now. Sri Lankan shares slipped to a more than 1 week closing low, with the Colombo stock index ending 0.23% weaker at 6,560.32. Turnover stood at 3.3 billion rupees, the highest since November of last year. Now let's cross over to Imesh Fernando from the Colombo Stock Exchange for a detailed report.
The benchmark all-share price index lost 15.07 points to close at 6,560.32, while the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index lost 4.9 points to close at 3,723.41. The turnover was 3.31 billion rupees, with 56.9 million shares changed in hands in 4,625 trades. The market capitalization at the end of the day was 3,044.4 billion rupees. Today's foreign purchases were 2.16 billion rupees and foreign sales were 2.1 billion rupees.
Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
On to international news now. China's ruling Communist Party yesterday set the stage for President Xi Jinping to stay in office indefinitely with a proposal to remove a constitutional clause limiting presidential service to just 2 terms in office. Since taking office more than 5 years ago, Xi has overseen a radical shape-up of the party, including taking down top leaders once thought untouchable as part of his popular war on deep-rooted corruption.
China's governing Communist Party has proposed removing a clause in the constitution which limits presidencies to 2 5-year terms. There had been widespread speculation that Xi would seek to extend his presidency beyond 2023. Party Congress last year saw him cement his status as the most powerful leader since the late Mao Zedong. His ideology was also enshrined in the party's constitution at the Congress, and in a break with convention, no obvious successor was unveiled. His presidency has seen economic reform, a fierce campaign against corruption, as well as a resurgence in nationalism and a crackdown on human rights.
Also in international news, the Information Ministry said yesterday that a total of 110 girls are missing after an attack on a school in northeast Nigeria by suspected Boko Haram insurgents in what may be one of the largest abductions since the Chibok kidnappings of 2014. The insurgents drove into the town of Dapachi last Monday and attacked the girls' school, sending hundreds of students fleeing.
Nigeria has deployed extra troops and planes to search for 110 schoolgirls believed to have been abducted by Boko Haram militants last week. The girls went missing after jihadists stormed their school in the town of Dapchi in the northeastern Yobe state last Monday. President Muhammadu Buhari said it was a national disaster and apologized to the girls' families. The attack has revived memories of the Chibok schoolgirl abduction in 2014. Nearly 4 years ago, they abducted 276 girls from a school in Chibok, leading to a worldwide #BringBackOurGirls campaign. The location of more than 100 of those girls is still unknown.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Well, in the latest International Cricket Council rankings 2020 international players, New Zealand player Colin Munro grabbed the top position among the T20 batsmen, while Afghanistan leg spinner Rashid Khan moved up to take the top position among bowlers. According to the ranking, Australia's Glenn Maxwell gained the top slot among all-rounders.
Left-handed Colin Munro has gained the top position with 801 points and a strike rate of 164. He scored 176 runs with the help of 250s and a strike rate of almost 210 in the recent Trans-Tasman series.
And very impressive. Oh, he's clubbed that. That's a beauty. That is a terrific shot.
Rashid Khan going to have his first ball.
Rashid Khan also became the youngest male cricketer to be top-ranked in the ICC rankings in One Day International last week. Khan tops the chart with 759 points and an economy rate of 5.86. Khan's fine performances in the recent 2-0 series win over Zimbabwe has taken him to the top position of the T20 rankings.
Over number 29. Yeah, that's definitely gone.
Glenn Maxwell regained the top slot from all-rounders, scoring 233 runs and grabbing 3 wickets in the Trans-Tasman series. Maxwell tops the chart with 390 points.
After weeks of colourful celebrations and high adrenaline performances, athletes and their team members were packing up and departing from their Olympic village today as the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games drew to a close. The Olympic Park, which just a day ago had been packed with people, was almost empty today.
South Korea brought the curtain down on its Peace Games yesterday with the winter sports athletes dancing and singing together at a vibrant closing ceremony. The ceremony was brought to a close by the ceremonial extinguishing of the Olympic torch, which was promptly followed by a glittering firework display. A total of 92 countries and regions have participated in the Pyeongchang Olympic Games. Norway topped the medal standings with 14 gold, 14 silver and 11 bronze medals. China finished 16th with 1 gold, 6 silver and 2 bronze medals.
Well, here's Katharina Chang with the weather.
A very good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Now, temperatures will vary between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius over the course of the day, with some low precipitation zone expected in the eastern coastal region of the island and will extend towards most parts of the region over the course of the next 24 hours. Now, this could mean we can expect some thunder showers in the areas of Batiklo and Trincomalee and in the Anuradhapur area. Moving downwards, we can expect some thunder showers in the areas of Kandy, Colombo and Galle. That is it from your weather centre tonight. It's now time to take a look at your city-by-city forecast.
And that is a part of your world tonight right here on Other Derana 24/7. I'm Mahesh Johnny. First at 9 will return tomorrow at the same time. Be sure to join us then. Before we close tonight's bulletin, we would like to take you to the Pyeongchang Olympic Park, where dazzling colours and screaming fans mark the closing ceremony of the Winter Olympics. Good night.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.